Hello and welcome to another Stellarian Games video. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at how I made this Sand Stair. It's a relatively simple project, and this is what I used for the July Guild Build Craft-Off. So, without further ado, let's go to the table and see how it's done. Okay, to start this project, we're going to cut out some circles on a hot wire cutter. These are 2-inch foam blocks cut into roughly 3-inch circles. Moving the guide a little bit in and cutting out an inner core of this circle as well. I didn't like the first inner core, so I ended up cutting it a little bit narrower. Then cutting out a circle out of MDF board and sanding the edge so that it has a nice beveled edge to it. Then just kind of eyeballing some stairs along the side of the foam, marking that in with a permanent marker. Then taking a knife and cutting close to the stairs but not directly at the stair level, and then doing that again for the upper piece as well. These two pieces will end up getting glued together in the end, but need to cut them out separately. Then just using an X-Acto knife, I went in and cut out each of the stair segments according to that permanent marker line. Then with a very thin shaved circle of foam, I used a texture roller to texture in kind of a cobblestone look, using hot glue gun and gluing that cobblestone to that MDF base. And using some hot glue and gluing the two stair segments together, and then running those two stair segments together through the hot wire cutter so it ends up with a nice even bevel all the way down. I'm using a hot glue gun to add some glue as well as kind of texture the underside of the stairs. I didn't want it to look so natural, blocky on the underside. I wanted it to be a little bit more organic sand texture. Then using the hot glue gun to form some drips on the end and just kind of spinning it around in the air until they cooled enough, and that formed the leading edge of the sand stair as it was being conjured out of the ground. Then glued it down to the base. Once all that was done, I used some white glue to coat the entire staircase as well as down onto the base a little bit. Then I'm sprinkling on some very even sand, so that way the top of the stairs especially had a nice even coat of sand. That way the stairs themselves would stand out and still have kind of their stair shape. Used a little bit more white glue and some coarser sand to put in, especially along the underside of the sand stair, just give it some extra texture. I'm using some black Mod Podge, black painted Mod Podge mix, and coating the entire sand stair. That will hold all that sand in place. Now I'm starting with a dark brown dry brush over the entire piece, then going to a little bit lighter tan, dry brushing the highlights, and finally going with that really light tan and hitting just the highlights along the tops of the stairs and hitting some other areas that are real standout areas. Once all of that is completely dry, we're going to come in with a black wash and coat the entire thing in a black wash to get some of the texture to stand out. Then I'm coming in with a gray craft paint and picking out a lot of the individual stones in the piece, just so that it has a little bit more highlighted texture to the entire thing, rather than having it kind of just be a brown muddy mess. And that is the final piece. The stairs end up being, still visible through the sand, while still looking like, sort of sand being conjured out of the ground to form stairs. I imagine this piece being used as kind of a magic spell that someone could use, and it would be a great way of putting it into play in a game to solve problems that otherwise would be a little bit more challenging. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and the like button down below. And while you're at it, you can check out some of the other videos that I have on the Stellarian Games channel. Thank you, and hope to see you again next time.